Hi everyone, today we're going to have a look at the brand new Metroplex Titan deck for the Transformers trading card game. I'm going to open this up and let's have a look what's inside. Okay, so here's what you get inside the Metroplex deck. Now Metroplex was the first Titan from the old Transformers stories, so I'm hoping this is going to be the first of a few Titan decks over the forthcoming months and years, because Metroplex's arch enemy was a Decepticon Titan called Trypticon, I think it was. So you would look and think, surely there must be a Trypticon deck that will be currently being created and hopefully out too soon, because from what I've seen from looking at how this works, this is just going to be too much fun and we need to have Titans going up against Titans. So anyway, slightly digress. So this is what's inside the pack. Nice touch. We've got some more of the damage counters. These are perforated cards, so you can tear them up and use them in your game. Obviously, there's the absolutely massive Titan card for Metroplex, and then you've got three sub-character cards, which are the normal standard size of character cards that you might be familiar with in the game so far. And then you've got a deck of battle cards there as well, 40 battle cards in there. Just a couple of quick points about the deck. So I don't know if you can see, but Metroplex adds up to 25 stars. You possibly can't see because I'm filming in a very strange lighted environment, but each of those stars has a number of 5 inside them. So he actually costs 25 stars, which is the maximum amount you can have in a team. However, when you're actually playing Metroplex, then these 3 dudes that come with him don't count towards the star cost. So basically for 25 points you are able to play Metroplex, Slammer, 6-Gun and Scamper. And these 3 cards actually start the game underneath Metroplex. So that's where they live at the start of the game. You put them underneath. So each of them can be deployed once during the game, and when one of them's deployed, basically it comes onto the battlefield untapped. So let's pretend we're bringing Slammer onto the field. So it comes in untapped, and it's basically another character card that then you're going to play with. If any of these guys get knocked out during the actual game, then you don't return them underneath Metroplex. They are, they go into the KO pile, so that they're out of the game. And you don't lose the game until all of the characters have been knocked out. Even if Metroplex gets knocked out, you still play using these here. I can't actually think of a scenario where Metroplex would be knocked out before you've deployed these cards, because Metroplex's health is 35, so it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. And the reason for that basically is that when you flip to alt mode, you deploy one of the characters from underneath Metroplex onto the battlefield. So if we think about the starting conditions of a game, we start in alt mode. The first action you will do when it's your turn, whether you go first or whether you go second, will be definitely to flip Metroplex into bot mode. He's then able, obviously, to attack from there. Now, there's an interesting ability with Metroplex. When in bot mode, when he attacks, if you flip at least 2 white, 2 orange, and 2 blue, then from your battle cards, when you're doing your attacking action, then you tap every single enemy character and do 1 damage to each of them. So instantly it can mean that your opponent, if he's only got 1 character tapped out of 3 or 4, suddenly he's tapping them all, which makes all of them viable targets, but also means that you would actually get to keep attacking until all of your cards are tapped. So if I just quickly fast forward to a scenario where you've actually deployed Metroplex and 6-Gun, Scamper and Slammer, if you did manage to pull this off with the flipping of 2 whites, 2 orange and 2 blues, your opponent gets completely tapped. You might have Metroplex tapped because you've just attacked, you've just pulled off that rather impressive feat. You're then basically carrying on attacking by tapping all 3 of these and keeping going. So it could be a real coup de grace. It could be a move that absolutely takes out your opponent if it's a little bit further on in the game. It's potentially a match-winning event. So so Metroplex, yeah. So he's obviously starting off in alt mode. We'll flip him into bot mode. He might do the wonderful ability there, but the main thing is on your next turn, or if you have one of the battle cards where you can flip a character. I'll find it in a moment. As soon as he flips back into alt mode, you're deploying a character. So you're looking to try and have Metroplex flipping relatively frequently, well, as often as possible during the game. So it's no surprise. I just got very confused as to what the card was called, but it's no surprise that inside the pre-built deck you have, I'm curling for time, Rapid Conversion. So it is one of the action cards, and there's 3 of these included in the Metroplex deck. So playing this action, you can flip one of your characters to its other mode. So if you played that at the start of a turn, then you're flipping Metroplex over, and then you still have the action to flip a character, so you can flip him back, and you've got another one of your smaller characters deployed. So there are techniques and cards that you can use to help you get these 3 guys onto the battlefield as quickly as possible. So, I mean, I'll quickly run through the actual deck itself for the battle cards. You've got 3 rapid conversions. You've got 3 supercharges. One of your characters gets bold 3 until the end of the turn. You've got some new cards. So Rally the City is a new action card. It's from Wave 1A, and there are 3 cards in that wave, all of which are included in this deck. So if you have Metroplex on the battlefield, draw a card for each character you have on the battlefield. So a few turns in, you might find that when you play that action card, you're drawing another 4 cards into your hand, which is useful because it looks like the way to play Metroplex is to always be quite nimble and flexible with your cards, because, let's go back to the beginning, this attack, the 2 white, the 2 orange and the 2 blue, you are looking to constantly have your enemy tapped, so here's a target. You're looking to do that 1 damage every single time you're attacking with Metroplex. Back to the battle cards. Protected by Metroplex, which is a utility upgrade. If the upgraded character would take damage, instead your Metroplex takes that damage. So you would imagine that this is a utility that you would have on a couple of your lesser characters. For example, 6 Gun only has a toughness of 1 in alt mode and a toughness of 0 when he's in bot mode. So you would probably want that to be on there because Metroplex, as a reminder, has 35 health, so he can afford to take some damage away from a character that doesn't have much. The reason the defense is relevant there is people are going to get through 0 and 1 defense quite quickly, and he's only got 5 health himself, so Metroplex actually can help to keep these characters alive. Looking at Slammer, who is a tank, so he's only got the 1 side, he's only got 3 health. Yes, he's 3 defense, but he's only got 3 health. Similar thing for Scamper in alt mode, 2 defense, 4 and only 4 health, and in bot mode only 1 defense. So the more I look at this deck, and I obviously haven't played a game with it yet, the more I'm starting to think this is actually a really well thought out sort of set of cards, because Metroplex is really important to the sub cards because he needs to basically help them to stay alive, and that's why, you know, this card, Protected by Metroplex, is going to be very useful. In the same way, these characters, 6 Gun, Scamper and Slammer, are also really useful for Metroplex because it's good for Metroplex to get this special ability off when he's in bot mode. So if we look at 6 Gun and Scamper in a bit more detail, when you flip 6 Gun to bot mode, your Metroplex gets bold 2 until the end of the turn, sorry. So when Metroplex is attacking and 6 Gun's in bolt mode, Metroplex is going to be flicking another 2 cards on his attack because of that bold 2. Scamper, when he's in alt mode, your Metroplex has bold 1. An important part of the rules for the game is that bold, like tough and like pierce, it does stack. So if you've got these lined up properly, bold 2 from 6 gun, bold 1 from Scamper, even Slammer has, your Metroplex has bold 1. So you've already got now 2, 3, 4 in there, 4 extra cards that are going to be flipped. And then when you start to look at some of the action cards that are in the deck, like Supercharge, one of your characters gets bold 3 until the end of the turn. So if you're playing that action card as well, okay, now you've got bold 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Metroplex is now going to be flipping an extra 7 cards, and every time you're adding bold onto Metroplex's attack, you have a vastly increased chance of turning over 2 whites, 2 oranges and 2 blues. There's a card here, an action. Have I just shown that one? Yes, I have. So that's the action for bold 4. Armoured Plating is in the battle deck. Backup Plans in there, which is, you know, an uncommon card. Scrap your hand, then draw 3 cards. So there's 3 of those. That gives you a good opportunity if the cards currently in your hand aren't going to be useful towards, you know, enhancing the characters to give them more bold or more toughness when they need it, or if you're looking for action cards like Supercharge and you've not seen them but you know they're in the deck somewhere, being able to scrap your hand and start again is a very useful card. Combat Training, another utility upgrade. So if you haven't managed to get the Protected by Metroplex onto these, then you know you're able to start putting combat training cards on. You could actually put that on Metroplex himself and have another bold 1. So again, when you're starting to flip 8, 9, 10 extra cards as well as the 2 you would use to normally attack, this is you know, it's a powerful combination. The ability to have your opponent, if he's got 4 characters and only one of them's tapped, to suddenly go to all 4 being tapped, all taking at 1 damage each, and then you're in an attack process where potentially you could be attacking with Metroplex and then unlocking another 3 attacks from 6 gun, Scamper and Slammer, especially if they've got some upgrades themselves. You know, Flamethrower is in the deck. Yeah, it's a potentially. I'm actually really looking forward to giving it a go, because I think this is going to be quite a tough combination to beat. As long as you get lucky with the cards, and you're able to use Metroplex to take the damage of the smaller guys, keep the smaller guys alive so that they can then assist Metroplex, and they do that. You know, Slammer, when Slammer is deployed, when he's first deployed, do 1 damage to each enemy. Scamper, when you flip him to bot mode, when you flip to this mode and have Metroplex on the battlefield, scrap an enemy weapon or armor, so you're getting rid of an upgrade card from an enemy. 6 gun, when he's in alt mode, when your Metroplex attacks, do 1 damage to the defender. So again, there's another point of damage happening with that. Back into the deck that comes with it, we've got a couple of data pad utilities. Flamethrower, yeah, I've said that's in there. Force Field, the armor upgrade. So if the upgraded character would take 5 or more attack damage, instead scrap this card and the upgraded character takes 4 attack damage. That might be an upgrade that you put onto Metroplex, because if he's going to be taking damage for some of these smaller cards, which was one of the cards I showed you earlier, protected by Metroplex. So let's say Scamper's in a situation where he's going to take 6 damage, which is feasible, or 7 damage even. You can have him protected by Metroplex, so Metroplex is going to take the damage, but if Metroplex has a Force Field upgrade on there, then he's not going to take, he's only going to take 4 damage. Okay, so again, using this deck to keep characters alive and to keep the interactivity between them is really important, and I actually think the designers of the game have pulled together a really well balanced deck here. Handheld Blaster, there's 3 of those. A weapons upgrade, again it adds bold, so it's probably, you know, it might be one that you put on Metroplex, but if it's not in play as an upgrade, you'll notice you've got 3 cards there with double blue. So let's go back here. When this attacks and you flip at least double white, double orange, double blue, tap each enemy and do 1 damage. So you're increasing the chances of flipping double blues. Improvised shield, double oranges, there's 3 of those in there. Excuse me, it's an armor upgrade, it adds tough 1. So, you know, you might put it onto one of your weaker characters, or you might want to keep them in your hand and hope that it helps you to flip the double oranges. But that said, if you're in a situation where you've got 7 or 8 or 9 bold going on to Metroplex, you're flipping 11 cards, so you've got a very good chance of actually getting the colours you want. And you won't want to do this every single turn either, because once your enemy's, you know, tapped, once it's happened once, then you don't need to worry too much about constantly trying to get them to tap. You're more interested then in doing as much damage as you can. And Metroplex, his damage output is 6 when he's in bot mode, 4 when he's in alt mode. And then finally in the deck you've got Inspiring Leadership. Draw 3 cards, then scrap 2 cards from your hand. So again, another useful action card that will let you basically keep your hand rotating if you're trying to achieve a certain objective, such as getting bold upgrades, or such as getting the defense cards that you need onto the smaller dudes. So this potentially is going to be a lot of fun to play with, and this is the first real sort of expansion to the basics of the game, the basic products that came out, which was the Autobots starter deck and the booster packs. The booster packs have been great. I did do another video which is an introduction to the game and how to play, and it basically, in a nutshell, I'm basically saying the starter pack and a number of booster packs is a perfect way to get into it. But this, I genuinely can't wait to have a game with this, which I'm intending to try and do over the next 24 hours. These guys, Scamper, 6-Gun and Slammer, as we said at the start, Metroplex is 25 stars, so he is effectively a team on his own. These guys don't cost anything to play with Metroplex. If you did want to add them to another deck, then you know, they're quite low cost. Slammer is 4 stars, 6-Gun is 4 stars, and Scamper is 4 stars. So if you've already got a deck build that's, you know, currently running at, you might have 3 characters already in a deck that has 21 cards, and you haven't yet found that 4-star character. I'm not even sure if you've had any 4-star characters up to this point. Well, you know, here they are. You could, if you're not playing Metroplex, you could take one of these, possibly Scamper. No, probably Slammer. Drop him into your deck, take it up to 25 points. You know, you've got a tank there that's doing an extra 3 damage. The abilities are no good because they're all linked to Metroplex, but you know, it's a 4-star character, which might mean you complete your deck. So can't think of much else to tell you. I'm genuinely very impressed. I mean, that card is just titanic. So I don't know if they're going to ever make a sleeve for that. But yeah, so just a quick recap. Metroplex, bot mode, 6 attack, 35 health is constant, only 1 defense. In alt mode, 2 defense, 4 attacks. You're flipping to this mode to deploy one of the characters that's underneath you. And then you've got that ridiculous colour combo attack, which basically will tap your enemy. Scamper in bot mode, we've got 3 attack, 1 defense, 4 health. When you flip to this mode, have Metroplex in the battlefield, scrap an enemy weapon or armour. When he's in alt mode, Metroplex gets bold 1, you're attacking with 2, your defense is 2 as well. Slammer is a tank, so he just gets the one side of actions, 3 damage, 3 health, 3 defense. Metroplex has bold 1 when he's in play. 6-Gun in alt mode, attack 2, health 5, toughness 1. When Metroplex attacks, you do 1 damage to the defender. I think it's because he's a gun that actually attaches to Metroplex. And in bot mode, 4 attack, which is a couple more than as a gun. 5 health obviously, but no defense. So there you go. That's the deck. It comes out, been quite lucky, it actually comes out tomorrow, I think it is, or in a couple of days time. If you've got any questions, by all means ask away in a comment, and if you like what you've seen, then it's always nice to get a subscribe. But this deck gets double thumbs up from me. Thank you very much for watching.